Good evening, everyone. This is Bluebell, here to read you Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. I just realised that all of you people have missed out of the beginning of the story, so I'm going to start again. Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. Here are the adventures of Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. They were foster brothers, and this is how it came about. When Cuddlepie was very small, that is, when he only had been out of the bud a few hours, a great wind arose, and lifting him out of his mother's arms, carried him far across the tops of many trees, and left him in a spider's web. This saved his life, but he nearly lost it, for a short-sighted bird, mistaking him for a grub, was about to eat him. He was going to eat him all up when Nut, beholding, shouted, "Bird, bird!" and the mine snake. The old bird was very frightened and flew away, and then the kind Nut was his father. Here then lived Cuddlepie side by side with Snugglepot, and they grew strong and fat, as you can see them in the pictures. One day, a wise old kookaburra came to the neighbourhood, and all the blossom nuts crowded in him to speak. He said, "I am old, I have travelled. I have seen humans. Humans are strong as the wind, swift as the river, fierce as the sun. They can scratch one stick upon another, and lo, it will be a bushfire. They love fire. The male human carries it about with him in his skin, and the smoke comes out of his nostrils. They whistle like the birds. They are cruel as a snake. They have many skins, which they take off many times. When all the skins are off, the human looks like a pale frog." Now Snugglepot and Cuddlepie were scared all over to hear all of these things, so they went often to listen to the wise kookaburra. "These humans," said Mr. Kookaburra, "are as bad. But there must be bad things in this world as well as good, for it would be very awkward for me if there were no snakes to eat." And Mr. Snugglepot and Cuddlepie thought very much about it all. One day they asked Mr. Bluecap Wren if it were all true. "Quite," said he. "I have some relations living in the Sydney domain, and I know. I want to see a human," said Snugglepot. "In the distance," said Snugglepie. "Humans, they say, in the Sydney domain." The journey begins. Time for another story. The journey begins. One very hot night, when the cicadas were singing so loudly that Snugglepot couldn't hear his father snoring, he and Cuddlepie crept out of the bed, out of the house. "Where are you going?" asked Cuddlepie. "To see the humans," said Cuddlepot. "Only in the distance," pleaded Cuddlepie. They then began on their journey. When they had walked a long way, Snugglepot said, "It is nearly day. Let us pretend to be the birds, so that they will know us." "Yes," says Cuddlepie, "but we can't fly." They found themselves an old nest, and they took the feathers from it, and they dressed themselves in them. When the sun rose, they were far from home. In the little home, the kind father and mother and the little baby brother had looked out all night, but into the darkness. But Snugglepot and Cuddlepie were far away, and no one had known them at all. But all who passed by them said, "What strange birds they are," because they disguised themselves with those feathers. Look at them. But Cuddlepie had chuckled in his neck too. All day he had walked on the busy high road to see them In the picture, Snugglepot is leaning out of the nut, helping himself to a bun. It is a grassroot bun. But at last it grew dark, and being very tired, they went to sleep in a burrow in a hollow tree. Now it happened that that very greedy owl lived in this tree, and when Cuddlepie went to sleep, Snugglepot had covered him with feathers to keep him cozy. So when all the greedy owl opened his eyes, the first thing he blinked at was Snugglepot's little fair body lying in the moonlight. "Pink mouse! Pink mouse! Pink mouse!" he shouted. "I'm so hungry," muttered the greedy owl. And then he pounced upon Snugglepot and flew with him out into the sky. At the flutter of wings, Cuddlepie awoke. When he saw the terrible thing that was happening, he screamed aloud, "Take me! Take me! I don't want to be left. I'd rather be eaten than be left with... I would rather be eaten with Snugglepot than live alone without him and be left alone." But the greedy owl flew away. He was like a speck in the eyes of them, and they could no longer see him, how far he flew into the sky. Now the greedy owl had a greedy wife, and in his haste to get the pink mouse out of her way, he had not noticed he was carrying a gumnut baby, and not a pink mouse at all. When he saw his mistake, he was so shocked that he let Snugglepot fall down, 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 down. He tumbled right through the window into the ants' house. A tired night nurse saw him coming, but before he could do anything, he had crashed in and killed several babies. This was a blessing for Snugglepot, for Snugglepot was sadly hard on the baby ants. "I'm so sorry," said Snugglepot. "It can't be helped," said the nurse. Ooh. How beautiful it is to be so sensitive that we do not even want to crush a single ant. And tomorrow we will continue with Kind Mrs. Fantail. What a beautiful novel. See you all tomorrow, people. Thank you, kind listeners. This is Bluebell. Good night, everyone.